Welcome to Barefoot Sessions. No, that's not what it's called. Welcome back to Equipping Grace. I'm here with Shelley Word and Kendall Onheiser, our video director and worship leader here at Grace Church. And are those your day jobs? No.
They're after hours jobs.
No,
Yeah.
We're here to talk about their regular day jobs, which is
teaching.
Yeah. So I have said many times to people, this is not a great year to be working in education.
That might be true.
It might be true. With all of the coronavirus restrictions and just craziness that comes along with trying to resume in-person anything.
Mm-hmm. It makes everything difficult.
It does.
Yeah,
So.
it's added an immense layer of kind of anxiety and a completely new thing that, stuff that we have to get used to doing. So it's been a challenge the first week.
Yeah, so you're a week in. You're in your first week?
Yes.
Wait, it's over. It's Friday.
Yes. Thank goodness. It's been a long week, but pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, helps when you only stay till noon.
It is. It's only part-time, but I love doing it.
Yeah. Well, these are two teachers that we have, but there are more teachers in our congregation and in some of our staff families, and so we wanted to take a moment here at the beginning of the school year and highlight our educators, the ones in our churches and the ones that are representing Christ that aren't part of this church specifically, and spent some time really praying for our teachers this week and just at the beginning of the school year as we're thinking about that. But so part of this conversation, we just want to how can we best be praying for our teachers this year?
I am a little bit worried about my students in their well-being, obviously, but just the anxiety that's gone along with a lot of people losing their jobs. A lot of my students live with grandparents in the home and old people that are in high risk. And I know that there's some thoughts about that for many of the kids, worrying about it, and just hoping that everything goes well. I'm also worried about those kids that I am not going to see, that were in my classrooms last year, and then I was expecting to see them as seniors this year, and I'm worried about whether or not they're actually going to be successful in a virtual setting, and so many of mine have gone to virtual, and that's one of the things that I worry about. I also am praying every day for the older teachers or teachers that have underlying conditions, that we will have a safe environment for them, because that's a risk, and I'm really excited because I have been able to talk about Jesus to a lot of people in this last 5 days at my work where we had not talked about it before. So I think that's the Lord's opened up opportunities that we wouldn't have seen otherwise.
Yeah. That's really awesome. Kendall, you work at a Christian school over at Heartland Christian.
Yeah.
So that
You used to work there.
I worked there once upon a time. Something about moving cities. It's a long commute from Lakeland.
Yeah. Oh my goodness! Don't do that.
But what are some of the challenges? I mean, I know from working there, but for our viewers, what are some of the challenges that you face at a Christian school? Unique to this year or otherwise.
Well, our school is a kind of a private school, so most people have to pay. Well, yeah, and so one of the things that come with Corona come with quarantine. We're hoping that we don't have to go back through quarantine, and just praying for the kids that they. One of the things I do at the school is I teach band and I teach music and I teach ministry. And I was just hoping that this quarantine, hopefully that we don't go back to quarantine, and it just messes with the just the continued education of Jesus. You ministering to other kids, and that's my main job is in Bible class, is just ministering to kids, telling that we care, and then having to go back home into quarantine. It's just it doesn't look too good for us.
Yeah.
That was something that wasn't really on my radar that my wife kind of raised the concern when all that started last spring after spring break, that for a lot of kids, school is the safe place
Yeah.
for them.
Absolutely.
And yeah, you kind of think about that, and you think about that as teachers, you have this opportunity to minister to kids that are coming out of situations that you would never want to go home to or send your kids home to.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of a reprieve from home,
Yeah.
having a place to go where they can be safe. Yeah.
Yeah. So transitioning a little bit, why did you get into teaching? Was it on purpose, or did you just end up in it?
Well, I remember in kindergarten or first grade, they said, "What are you going to be when you grow up?" And I was going to be a music teacher. And then I got to thinking later on that was going to be a dumb idea, and so I didn't
sorry,
do it.
Kendall, no offense there.
Yeah, no offense. It's kind of funny that you're a music teacher, yes. But then over the years, I found myself buying stuff to put on my bulletin board and getting a degree in education. And I said, maybe I ought to go ahead and get a job as a teacher. But I did come at it sort of as the third career in my life, and this is what I was intended to do.
Yeah.
So I'm really thankful that the Lord's given me the opportunity. I think that the scripture tells us that he'll put us in the place, if we'll make ourselves available, he'll put us in the place where we're supposed to be. And this is where I'm supposed to be.
I like that. Make
That's
yourself
awesome.
available. I like that. Well, coming out of school, I didn't intend to become a teacher. Miss Kogelschatz, the director over at Heartland Christian, she kind of paved the way for me to kind of take over a Bible teacher position, and it ultimately led to a music class position, and it's kind of been open-ended.
Oh.
I've been able to work in music, kind of make a praise team out of our band, and it's almost like what I do here. It's a way to minister to kids, and it's a way to teach music in a way where it's almost in the same way we're doing up here. I get to teach all about Jesus through the music that I play.
There's purpose to it.
Yeah.
It's more than just a musical ability.
Yeah. And so I've been there for 3 years, and it's been a wild ride.
Yeah, that's exciting. Having grew up in a Christian school. I a lot of that resonates with me as far as just what that's like, and the impact it can have. So, and Shelley will certainly be praying for you, for our public school teachers. What are some of the unique challenges of being a Christian teacher in a public school? I mean, surely there's some limitations on what you can say and what you can't, but what's that?
Well, of course there is, and it's just like anything. Even I teach American government, so I have to be careful about whether or not I give out a lot of political views also. So it's that's kind of both of those things, because you want children to have the freedom of religion, that they're in this public institution, and they should be able, and they shouldn't be subject to the same kind of teaching that a child that's going to a Christian school is going to have. And you certainly want to see that in a Christian school, but there are parents that would probably appreciate that the love of Christ shown to their kids. And so that's really where your limitations are. You can't proselytize, but you can certainly show the love of Christ. And the parents really appreciate that when you do. It just can't be something that we're having a class discussion and I'm saying, okay, why don't you all go to church? And that's over the line.
Yeah.
The same way I can't say, well, anything about whether or not you're a Democrat or a Republican or a conservative, that type of thing. But I have had many students over the last 6 years at the high school, this is going into my 7th year, that stop at the end of a class, and say, "Miss, can I talk to you?" And many times that's a spiritual thing.
Mm-hmm.
Many times they're needing, you definitely say, "I can pray for you," and we'll pray for you, and that's, while that's not bringing them to church or saying I'll pick, there's certainly that they certainly feel that love of Christ. Now, the fun thing about where I work is that next door to me, the next 2 doors down, are people that run youth groups in First Baptist Church of Avon Park, which is neat as can be. And so they are able to really minister to those kids there that come to their youth group on Sunday and Wednesday, and then they see them at school, which is kind of a unique situation in a public school.
Yeah, that is neat.
Mm-hmm.
Kendall, any final thoughts? Oh, sorry, that's not a yes or no question.
Yes. Well, it's not as hard as a Christian school. You can talk about Jesus, there.
Right.
But you have parents that send their kids there and try to love them the best they can, and some of them just don't want to receive it. And that's the thing that I've been fighting against is the kids that have no desire to know Jesus, even though they're in a Christian school. And just one of those things that you need to pray for those kids about.
Right.
It's just, it's being pushed down their throat, and I don't want to give them a bitter taste of Jesus.
Yeah.
I just want to let them know that they're loved,
Yeah.
whether they know it or not. Just want them to let them know that they're loved, and that they don't have to conform.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that really is a unique challenge. It's like I can tell you all about Jesus, but I can't make you care,
That's right.
and that's hard.
And it's really an interesting contrast to what goes on in a public school, where you see a student that really that is looking for that spiritual help, and they're reaching out to me because I have Jesus, and hopefully they can see that. And where it's obvious that you have Jesus, and you're showing that to everybody and teaching it explicitly to them, and that yet they reject it. It's just a real picture of the way the world is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to stare that reality in the face sometimes.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you so much for your time today.
Absolutely.
We be obviously highlighting you guys through this video, but also we just really want to encourage all of our people. Be praying for teachers.
Yes.
This is a very challenging year for teachers everywhere. Not just the ones we have right here. It's a tough year to be in education, but every year
Yes.
is tough
It's
to be a teacher. So lift them up before the Lord this week.